I've always been interested in human behavior. So when I was in high school, I took a sociology and psychology class. What I really got from those two classes is that there are four major pillars slash factors of personality. It's family, education, peers, and media. And family is the most important part because that's where we learn our common values, morals, and beliefs. And media is the smallest part, and media is made up of music, television, TV shows, movies, video games, and stuff like that. I never realized how important family was until I compared myself to my neighbor. And him and I are very similar in the education, peers, and media part because we both grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, played in the same sports teams, so hung around the same people, had the same friends, listened to the same music, watched the same TV shows, watched the same movies, and played the same video games. But our biggest difference was our family, and that's how I saw that him and I are completely different people because of our family. His father was kind of a jock and was a stereotype of someone who peaked in high school, as in like he'd bully people and he would give other dads at parties or at baseball games titty twisters to make fun of them for it. And his mom would exclude people to make them feel bad about themselves. So if they were hosting a party, they would invite everyone except for one person or one family they had a problem with to make that family or person feel excluded and feel bad about themselves. So he grew up and he became a bully. He became someone who would exclude people to make them feel bad about themselves. Well, my parents were a lot different. My dad knew where the line was between joking around with someone and bullying. So I learned that line from him, and I learned not to bully people. And he was very nice people, very respectful people he didn't know, and he wouldn't bully them first. And my mom would never exclude anyone because she knew that would make someone feel bad, and she didn't want anyone feeling bad about themselves. So I never excluded anyone from anything. I even invited people over who I didn't like because I didn't want that one person feeling bad about themselves. So that's where I really saw the difference between him and I was our family. And then I really realized how media isn't that important when I had a conversation with my ex-girlfriend's mom about music. Her mom was very religious and very Christian. So when we were talking about music, she was talking about all the Christian bands she likes and who she went to go see in concert and that kind of stuff. And then she asked me what kind of music I'm into. And I told her I'm into rock and rap music and how I saw an Alice Cooper slash Motley Crue concert a couple weeks before that. And I saw the face on her kind of turn and she kind of gasped and looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, "That's the kind of music you're into?" And I said yes, and it got kind of awkward, so we stopped talking about it. And Motley Crue and Alice Cooper are kind of controversial as some of their songs talk about drugs, sex, and other things like that. So after we stopped talking about it, we just continued on. And then I went home, and I texted my ex-girlfriend, and she was telling me about how her mom was asking her all these questions about me, like, does he worship the devil? Does he smoke weed? Does he do drugs? Does he go out party and drink all the time? And that's kind of like the stereotype of someone who would listen to rock or rap music. And then I realized that I'm really not a stereotype of someone who listens to rock or rap music, as in I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I am pretty religious, and I'm pretty respectful. So I realized I'm not really a stereotype of that. So it's not fair of her to judge me off my one interest and think I'm a stereotype of my one interest. So then if I did the same to her, how would she come out to look? Usually people think that if someone's a Christian, that they must follow all the rules that the Bible says and do everything that the Bible, and don't do anything the Bible says you shouldn't do. So Jesus is the main character in the New Testament, and the story is that he hung around with Marilyn Magdalene, who was a prostitute at the time, and he never judged her for that, and he never made her feel bad about being a prostitute. But my ex-girlfriend's mom tried to make me feel bad and judged me off of my one interest. So if I stereotyped her as someone who was just a Christian from her one interest of Christian music, then I would assume that she follows everything and tries to be as Christian or as Jesus as possible. But she judged me off something, and Jesus was not one to judge other people. So it's not really fair of her to make me a stereotype of my music, and then it's not fair of me to make her a stereotype of her music because she's not 100% Christian, because she didn't do that one thing that the Bible says you should do. And so then I learned that media is not that important, and I learned that family is very important. So I always wondered why, if I listened to the news, like I read a report online, why the reporter would blame some person's actions on like a musician or an artist. And commonly, the two that I'm looking into is Marilyn Manson and Eminem.